What's up, everybody? This is Logan with Bearded Bourbon, and today is a special episode because today I am doing my Blue Note Juke joint, Uncut, barrel pick. So I have 3 samples here. I thought getting into it, we would go for, just to get our palates ready, or my palate ready, go with just the 93 proof Blue Note, their flagship pour, just to coat our palates, coat my palate. If you want to drink with me, that's fine. If you have a Blue Note pick, or if you have Blue Note, just the straight bourbon whiskey, feel free to taste with me. I love this pour. I'm really thankful for everybody at Blue Note for being patient with me and answering my questions and whatnot. So this is my second barrel pick. I did a barrel pick with Drew Black and Circle City Whiskey Company last September, and it was a dynamite barrel. Just ask anybody that was able to pick up a bottle. So good. So let's just get our palates coated. Delicious. So I'm going to be approaching this the same way, all 3 bottles. So I have a estimated proof 113.8, estimated proof 115.3, and then estimated proof 120. And I'm going to be sipping in my custom rocks glass made from Flame Run in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you ever travel to Louisville and you want to do your own rocks glass, it was a really fun experience. Now, you didn't actually get to do the hands-on stuff because this is really technical, but it was really fun to watch and just be immersed in the process. So cheers to Flame Run in Louisville. I'm going to be approaching that. I do have some water to maybe open it up a little bit and see how each of these pours changes with a little bit of water. This is also limestone water. And I'll also be taking some notes. And so if you want to follow along, let's just get into it. So the first one, here I go lowest proof to highest proof. So this is the 113.8. All right, getting into the 113.8. I'm getting a lot of oak. A little bit of vanilla, tiny hint of caramel. But I'm getting a lot more oak. Let's go into the palate. Writing notes a little bit here for this pour. Still get a lot of that oak, but it's a lot more vanilla on the palate, and it drinks probably right at that 113.8 proof, maybe just slightly below, but that's really, really good. So let me add a drop or 2 of water to see how this changes, see if it opens up a little bit. I'm not sure. Someone in the comments would have to tell me how much a drop of water. So if it's 113.8 proof, 1 drop, what's that do? Does it bring it down a whole proof point? Is it half a proof point? I have no idea. So if you know, tell me in the comments, or tag someone, or send this to someone that can explain that to me. I'm not sure how much just 1 drop of water changes it as far as proof point. It's a lot more. So I still get some of those same notes, but maybe more of like a vanilla icing. So it's kind of muted vanilla, I guess, compared to this nose. Okay, on that palate, I'm getting a lot more corn with the sip. And that may be a little bit of my palate just adjusting. I only took a couple sips of the 93 proof, so it might just be a little bit of I'm just getting acclimated to the pour itself. That water or the water just diluted it just a little bit, and I get a lot more corn. So I'll come back to that one. We'll go back through. I still have a good bit of the samples left, so we'll see where we go. So now we're on to the 115.3. This is a little different. I get a little bit more corn. I get less barrel. And I get more of that red fruitiness on this nose. Not necessarily like an apple. Same caramels, or same vanillas, same caramels. So I'm going to make some notes. Okay, let's go in for a taste. Some of those same flavors just kind of amped up. So definitely an oak presence. Just definitely the expression from the barrel itself. I realized I didn't take a sip of water before drinking that. But definitely more corn. That's a really good nose. So if I had to do it between the two, the 113 versus the 115, 115 definitely edges out the 114 just as far as it just seems like there's a much deeper flavor. I would imagine it's the same is going to be true with the 120 proof. But I'm getting a lot more fruitiness, more red fruit. I didn't get any fruit on the 113. Yeah, maybe a little bit of red apple in that. Let's put a couple drops of water in it. And again, I'm only doing 2 drops. When we did the Circle City pick, it went by super quickly. So we chose from 4 different barrels. And I'm going to be honest, the first barrel that we chose, or the first barrel that we tasted, I was like, oh no, what did we get ourselves into? Because that barrel for sure was not ready. And so it needed more time in the barrel. But I was like, this is the first barrel we're tasting. Are all the barrels like this? But we tasted number 2, a lot better. Number 3 ended up being the winner, and it was just delicious. So if you don't know anything about Circle City Whiskey Company, you can go on to sharedpour.com. Shared Pour is our retailer for this pick, and so Shared Pour also sells Circle City Whiskey Company bottles as well. All of them are cask strength. All of them are single barrels. He does have some small batch stuff, but everything that Drew is doing at Circle City Whiskey Company is great. But let's get back into this nose. Okay, it's similar with the 113, a lot more vanilla. A lot more vanilla. That's a really great nose. So kind of like a caramel corn icing, like sugary kind of nose. Okay, so a lot more sweetness on the palate after the water. So I get, it kind of loses its fruitiness, and it just goes more towards like buttercream or vanilla icing. Very sugary, which I like that. I like that a lot. So I still have maybe a 1/4 ounce in each, maybe a little bit less. But again, I'm going to go back through these because I want to create. I want a good pick I want to get big for you guys. If you guys want to get on this, Shared Pour distributes to most of the states, and so there's going to be a pre-sale of the bottle. So you'll secure your bottle or bottles, and they will ship right to your door. Okay, so this is the 120 proof. 120 proof. Whoa. So my first initial thought on this is kind of like a taffy. That is really interesting. I'm not really... If you go back and watch my videos, I've never had any kind of note of taffy before. But yeah, it's fruity. It's taffy. It's kind of like that kind of like that viscous, nougaty. It's a much more creamy nose. So let's go in for the taste. It's those same things that I got on the nose that just transferred immediately over to the palate. So you have a lot of that viscous, nougaty, creamy, taffy-like, fruity. Gosh, this was... Yeah, it's hard. As far as proof point, I wanted to come into this with an open mind because, more proof doesn't necessarily equal better flavors, more bold flavors, doesn't necessarily equal, a better pour. And so because, lower proofs, you might get more flavors or different flavors, but this has what the other two had, plus more of that creamy, nougaty, but again, the buttercream, icing, sweetness to it. And I could really smell this all day. That's really good. So that last sip, like caramel corn drizzle, your late night snacking, that's really good. So a couple drops here and see how it changes. I'm interested to see. As far as proof point, like they say estimated proof of 120. If I was guessing, I would probably guess around 105, 110. So this is with 2 drops of the limestone water. Not a ton of difference. I get more of that caramel corn on the nose, but still nougaty, creamy. Very sweet. Now this mash bill is 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley. This is absolutely 100%. I don't think that's ever going to change. My favorite mash bill ever. And the difference is, this is Blue River Distilling Co. They source from a lot of different areas, but I think the most recent has been Green River. Green River is my favorite pour for sure. So Blue Note is just, I love the different expressions. If someone can tell me what all the expressions are, or all the bottles that you could ever get with a 70, 21.9 mash bill, either send them to me and I would be incredibly grateful for it, or let me know where I could get them, because I want to know, because I also want to do like either a blind, or I want to do something interesting with all those expressions and just kind of see how they differ from each other, because it's all the same mash bill, but they're aged in different locations. and different rick houses, different either laid horizontally or stored vertically. Like, all of it's different, and that's the cool thing about bourbon and the art of bourbon, is that it just takes just a little bit of a tweak to just totally change the flavor profile. And that's the cool thing that I like about this whole process. So let's go back through. I'll go back to the 115 and then go back to the 113, and then I'll end on the 120. They all have 2 drops of water, and again, flame run. It really was a cool experience. So I would definitely recommend it. And not, for a custom piece of glass, that's functional and that allows you to do your favorite things, like drink bourbon. Priceless. Let's be real. All right. So again, a lot more sugar on the 115 proof, but I don't get that creamy, that nougat, and it's more of that vanilla, a little bit of caramel with it. Yeah, very, very sugary, very sweet. And so I think the time that it's just been in the glass, now 30 minutes, I think that's a good representation of what the barrel would taste like after some oxidation and some air got to it. So let's go back to the 113. Okay, so this is a lighter corn, a lighter vanilla. I would say some sweetness with it as well. Let's go on for a taste. There's a little bit more of a bite with that 113, which I appreciate. I like. The finish goes along a little bit more, but it's still that, those typical bourbon notes that you get. So a lot of vanilla, a little bit of caramel, but the finish goes on a little bit more. So if I had to put them in order right now, I'd probably just go down the line. 120, 115, 113. But 113 is probably maybe just a little bit ahead of the 115, honestly. So, just this nose that it's a lot more full. It seems like it has a lot more depth. Even with the water in it, there's a lot more depth to this pour. So you get all the right notes with it. You get that viscous, creamy, nougaty, barrel, oak, vanilla, that red fruit, just all the things that you would want in that pour. So yeah, I mean the 120, which I have maybe half of all these, but if I'm going to declare a winner right this instant, it's going to be this one, because this one has more of that viscous, that mouthfeel, that very creamy mouthfeel. It has it also on the nose. You have that taffy-like, nougaty, creamy. It just coats all of your mouth, coats your palate. It just lingers there, and that's so good. These other two are also really, really good. So I would give more of that. And maybe you call it maybe more astringent with the 113.8 proof. But that finish, it just lasts a little bit longer. And the 115 is also great. You have a little bit more of those fruity notes, but you don't have the creamy or the viscosity of the 120 proof. And so So I think I'm going to go with the 120 proof. That's going to be the bearded bourbon pick, barrel number 20,501. So be on the lookout for the link for Shared Pour for that pre-sale. If you want guaranteed access to this pick, then follow me, subscribe. So if you want guaranteed access to this pick, go to my Patreon. It's going to be in the description below, and you can join at any tier, which tier starts at $3, goes to $10, and then $25. And there's other perks and other benefits along with those $10 and $25 tiers. And so, but I'm super excited for this pick. This is so good. So I had a buddy send me a sample of the Blue Note Juke Joint Uncut seal box pick, which I think it's a little over 120 proof. So the cool thing about that barrel is in June of 2019, the Rick House that stored their inventory collapsed during a storm, and they lost thousands of barrels. And over the next few months, they were able to recover some of the barrels and take an inventory of what was left, and some of those barrels survived. And so I have a sample of one of those bottles, and I'm actually think I want to compare it to the 120 proof. So I'll be right back. All right, so this is the barrel. Now, never mind the Purdue sticker. Totally did that on purpose. And see how they differ. I imagine they're quite similar, but let's see. So this is the storm surviving, collapse surviving bottle. I don't know how long his bottle's been open, but I get a lot more fruitiness on this nose. It's very light. I think the bottle itself is 122 proof. I think that's what I saw. Yeah, a lot of fruit, tons of fruit. Yeah. I would even say like a red apple, maybe even a little bit grapey of a nose or of a palate. It's really good. So 120 proof. Bearded bourbon pick. A lot more creamy. A lot more viscous. So I would say with that pick, seal box pick, and as I continue to talk, that's just sitting on the back of my palate. It's just sitting right there. It's actually, the more that I talk, the more that it's intensifying, which is just an affirmation to picking the barrel that I think everyone's going to enjoy. But I think with more air and more oxidation, I think you get the best of both worlds. I think you get that viscosity, but I think you also get those sweeter, more fruity notes. That is everything that Blue Note is. And so this is it, guys and gals. This is the pick. So 120, the estimated proof. So it might come a little bit higher, might come just a smidge bit lower. But that is the pick, and I look forward to letting them know and getting this bottled and getting it in your hands. So definitely looking forward to this pick, and it's going to be a great one. You do not want to miss out on this pick. And so make sure you are either subscribed to my YouTube channel, you are following me on Instagram, or you are a patron on Patreon. And so until next time, we will see you then. Cheers, everybody.